The silent hegemony. For 3,000 years, the Malkaran Empire had reigned supreme across the known galaxies. Their crystalline ships glided through the cosmic void like predators, each vessel a testament to their unchallenged dominance. No species dared oppose them. No civilization could withstand their might. They had become the very definition of power, their empire stretching across countless star systems, their influence absolute and unquestioned. Supreme Admiral Voss stood on the bridge of his flagship, the crystalline throne, his four arms clasped behind his elongated back. His species had evolved to perfection, he believed, their minds sharp as their technology, their bodies adapted to command. The view screen before him displayed the endless expanse of conquered territories, each star system a jewel in the crown of Malkaran supremacy. "Status report," he commanded, his voice resonating through the bridge like a crystalline chime. "All sectors report nominal activity." "Supreme Admiral," replied his second-in-command, Lieutenant Krell. "The subjugated worlds continue their resource tributes on schedule. No signs of resistance detected in any quadrant." Voss's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. The galaxy had learned its place. Those who resisted were erased, their civilizations reduced to cautionary tales whispered in the dark corners of conquered worlds. The Malkarans had perfected the art of domination, their methods so efficient that most species surrendered before a single shot was fired. But today, something disrupted the perfect order. "Supreme Admiral," called out the sensor officer, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "We're detecting unusual energy signatures from Sector 117 Delta." Voss turned, his crystalline eyes narrowing. "That sector has been dead for millennia." "Clarify." "The readings are inconsistent with any known technology, sir. They appeared suddenly, as if something activated after a long dormancy." The bridge fell silent. The Malkarans had mapped every corner of the galaxy, catalogued every civilization, extinguished every threat. There should be nothing unknown to them. "Set course for Sector 117 Delta," Voss ordered. "Maximum speed. And alert the fleet. I want a full battle group ready for deployment." As the crystalline throne shifted course, its massive engines humming with power, none aboard could have imagined what awaited them. For in that forgotten sector, something ancient was stirring. The journey took 3 standard days, during which the mysterious signals grew stronger. When they finally arrived, what they found defied explanation. Floating in the void, surrounded by the debris of long-dead civilizations, was a ship unlike anything in their databases. It was massive, easily matching the crystalline throne in size, but its design was alien to Malkaran eyes. Where their ships were sleek and crystalline, this vessel was angular and metallic, its hull scarred by countless impacts yet somehow intact. Along its side, barely visible beneath layers of cosmic dust, were symbols in a language the Malkarans had never encountered. "Scan it," Voss commanded, his voice betraying a hint of unease. The results came back quickly, and they were impossible. "Supreme Admiral, the ship's core is active. Power readings are off our scales, and there are life signs aboard. Thousands of them, in some form of suspended animation." Before Voss could respond, the alien ship began to move. Lights flickered to life along its hull, and a message broadcast across all frequencies. It was in a language none of them understood, but the universal translator quickly deciphered it. "This is Captain Maria Ramirez of the United Earth ship Tempest. We have awakened. We have survived. And we remember." Deep within the Tempest, systems that had slumbered for centuries roared to life. Cryopods hissed open, releasing their occupants into a world they barely recognized. Captain Maria Ramirez was the first to emerge, her body adjusting rapidly to the awakening process thanks to genetic modifications developed during humanity's darkest hour. She moved to the bridge with purpose, her crew following as they shook off the effects of their long sleep. The bridge came alive around them, holographic displays painting a picture of their current situation. "Report," she commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of centuries. "All systems nominal. Captain, replied Commander Chen, her first officer. "The Tempest is fully operational. We're detecting a massive ship of unknown origin holding position at 100,000 kilometers." Maria studied the alien vessel on the main display. It was beautiful in its own way, crystalline and elegant, but she recognized the predatory design. This was a warship, and it was here for them. "Open a channel," she ordered. The view screen flickered, revealing the imposing figure of Supreme Admiral Voss. His 4 arms, crystalline eyes, and mandibles marked him as clearly non-human. But Maria had seen stranger things in humanity's long journey through the stars. "I am Supreme Admiral Voss of the Malkaran Empire," the alien declared. "You will power down your vessel and prepare to be boarded. Resistance will result in your immediate destruction." Maria smiled, a gesture that clearly confused the Admiral. "Supreme Admiral, I'm afraid you're operating under a misconception. We are not here to surrender." "You dare," Voss began, but Maria cut him off. "We are the remnants of humanity, Admiral. We fled our dying world centuries ago, pursued by enemies who sought our extinction. We've been sleeping, waiting for the right moment to return. And now we find the galaxy under the boot of yet another empire." She leaned forward, her eyes hardening. "Let me be clear. We've faced extinction before. We fought enemies that would make your empire tremble. We survived them all. And we will not bow to you." The bridge of the crystalline throne erupted in outrage. No one spoke to the Supreme Admiral in such a manner. No one defied the Malkaran Empire and lived. "You will learn your place, human," Voss snarled. "All weapons, target that ship. Prepare to fire." But as the Malkaran weapons powered up, something extraordinary happened. The Tempest's hull began to shift, ancient human technology responding to the threat. Panels slid open, revealing weapon systems that defied conventional understanding. "Captain," reported the tactical officer, Lieutenant Rodriguez, "they're charging weapons. Permission to engage countermeasures." Maria nodded. "Show them what humanity learned in the dark." What followed would be remembered as the moment the Malkaran Empire's absolute rule began to crumble. The Tempest's defensive systems activated, creating a shimmering field around the ship that absorbed the Malkaran's initial barrage as if it were nothing more than light rain. "Impossible," Voss roared. "Increase power to main batteries." But it was too late. The Tempest was already moving, its engines defying physics as the massive ship maneuvered with impossible grace. Humanity had not spent centuries in hiding without purpose. They had evolved, adapted, and prepared. "Admiral," called out the Malkaran sensor officer, panic in her voice, "their power readings are increasing exponentially. We've never seen anything like this." On the bridge of the Tempest, Maria stood calm amid the chaos of battle. Her crew worked with precision born of extensive training and genetic enhancement. They were more than human now, evolved through necessity and determination. "Target their weapon systems only," she ordered. "We're not here to destroy them. We're here to show them that their reign of terror is over." The Tempest's main guns spoke for the first time in centuries, and the galaxy would never be the same. Beams of concentrated energy, powered by technology that bridged the gap between physics and something beyond, struck the crystalline throne with surgical precision. One by one, the Malkaran weapons fell silent. "Supreme Admiral," Maria's voice came through the comm system, calm and assured, "this is your only warning. The age of empires built on fear and oppression is over. Humanity has returned, and we bring with us the storm of change." As the crystalline throne floated helplessly in space, its weapons destroyed but its crew unharmed, word of the encounter began to spread across the galaxy. The Malkarans, the unstoppable force that had dominated for millennia, had been humbled by a single human ship. But this was only the beginning. For in the depths of space, other human vessels were awakening, each carrying the survivors of Earth's diaspora. And with them came not just advanced technology, but something far more dangerous to the established order: hope. The storm was coming, and nothing would ever be the same. The storm unleashed. News of the crystalline throne's defeat spread through the Malkoran Empire like wildfire. On 1,000 conquered worlds, beings who had lived their entire lives under the crystalline boot of their oppressors dared to look up at the stars with something other than fear. The impossible had happened. The Malkorans had been challenged, and they had lost. Supreme Admiral Voss stood before the Imperial Council, his forearms trembling with barely contained rage. The council chamber, a massive crystalline dome at the heart of the Malkoran homeworld, resonated with tension. One ship, Emperor Thal's voice boomed through the chamber. One ship has done what entire civilizations could not. Explain yourself, Admiral. Voss struggled to maintain his composure. My Emperor, their technology is unlike anything we've encountered. It defies our understanding of physics, of warfare itself. Then we will overwhelm them with numbers, declared War Minister Krex. Summon the Grand Fleet. We will crush this tempest and make an example of these humans. But even as the Malkoran war machine mobilized, Captain Maria Ramirez was setting in motion a plan that would shake the foundations of their empire. On the bridge of the Tempest, she coordinated with awakening human vessels across the galaxy. Status report, she commanded, studying the holographic display of the galaxy. Commander Chen stepped forward. We've established contact with 12 sister ships, Captain. The Prometheus, Valkyrie, Phoenix, and others are all operational. More are awakening every hour. Maria nodded. And our allies. The signal has been received. The resistance movements on conquered worlds are mobilizing. They'd been waiting for this moment for generations. The human diaspora had not fled Earth without purpose. They had seated themselves throughout the galaxy, sleeping in hidden stations and camouflaged ships, waiting for the right moment to emerge. That moment had come. Captain, called out Lieutenant Rodriguez, we're detecting a massive Malkoran fleet approaching. 300 ships, including 5 dreadnoughts. Maria smiled. They're sending everything they have. Good. It's time to show them what humanity learned in exile. The Battle of Silent Nebula, as it would come to be known, began with the arrival of the Malkoran Grand Fleet. 300 crystalline ships emerged from hyperspace, their weapons primed and ready. Against them stood the Tempest and 4 other human vessels that had arrived to support their sister ship. Admiral Voss, commanding from his repaired flagship, was confident. 5 ships against 300. They stand no chance. All units, attack formation Alpha. Leave nothing alive. But as the Malkoran fleet advanced, the human ships did something unexpected. They didn't retreat or form a defensive line. Instead, they accelerated toward the enemy, their hulls beginning to glow with an inner light. What are they doing? Demanded Voss. Open fire. Destroy them. The space between the fleets erupted with energy as thousands of Malkoran weapons fired simultaneously. But the human ships were no longer where they appeared to be. Using technology developed during their long exile, they bent space around themselves, creating false images while their true positions remained hidden. Neural link established, reported the Tempest's eye. Quantum entanglement confirmed. Initiating swarm protocol. Suddenly, each human ship seemed to split into dozens of copies, each one as real as the original to Malkoran sensors. The swarm protocol, a marriage of quantum physics and human ingenuity, created a network of possibilities that overwhelmed the Malkoran targeting systems. Impossible, Voss roared. They can't be in multiple places at once. But they could, and they were. The human ships danced through the Malkoran formation, their weapons striking with precision while avoiding return fire with ease. It wasn't just superior technology. It was a completely different approach to warfare. Admiral, his tactical officer reported, voice shaking, we've lost 30 ships already. Their weapons, they're not just destroying our vessels, they're rewriting them at the molecular level. Indeed, Malkoran ships hit by human weapons didn't explode, they transformed. Their crystalline structures reorganized themselves, turning from weapons of war into inert sculptures drifting in space. On the Tempest's bridge, Maria watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. Status of the Liberation fleets. All teams report successful insertion, Chen replied. Resistance cells on conquered worlds are receiving our technology packets. The uprising has begun. This was the true genius of the human strategy. While the Malkarans focused on the visible threat, humanity was sharing their advanced technology with every oppressed species in the galaxy. Quantum transmitters, hidden in the fabric of space-time itself, were broadcasting blueprints for weapons, shields, and other technologies to resistance movements across the Empire. Supreme Admiral, came a panicked voice over the Malkaran command network. We're receiving reports of uprisings on multiple worlds. The subjugated species, they have weapons we've never seen before. Voss felt his world crumbling around him. How? We've monitored all communications, all technology transfers. He didn't understand that humanity hadn't just advanced their technology during their exile. They had evolved their thinking. They had learned to fight not just with weapons, but with hope itself. Admiral Voss, Maria's voice cut through the chaos of battle, broadcasting on all frequencies. I offered you a chance to end this peacefully. You chose war. Now face the consequences. The 5 human ships suddenly converge, their energy fields merging into something greater than the sum of their parts. The Malkaran fleet, already in disarray, could only watch in horror as reality itself seemed to bend around the human vessels. They're creating a singularity, screamed the Malkaran science officer. But it's controlled, focused. This is impossible. The controlled singularity pulsed once, sending out a wave of energy that washed over the entire Malkaran fleet. When it passed, every crystalline ship hung motionless in space, their systems completely shut down, their crews unharmed but helpless. This is Captain Maria Ramirez to all Malkaran forces, she broadcast. Your empire is over, not because we destroyed you, but because we've shown the galaxy that you can be defeated. Every species you've oppressed now has the means to fight back. The choice is yours. Adapt to a new reality of cooperation and mutual respect, or face extinction. In the days that followed, the Malkaran Empire collapsed not through violence, but through the simple revelation that they were not invincible. Across the galaxy, species that had lived in fear for millennia rose up, armed with human technology and inspired by human courage. The Tempest and her sister ships didn't conquer. They liberated. They didn't rule. They taught. Humanity had learned from the mistakes of the past, their own and others. They established the Galactic Alliance, a confederation of free species dedicated to mutual defense and shared prosperity. Supreme Admiral Voss, stripped of his rank and power, stood before a tribunal composed of representatives from every species the Malkarans had oppressed. But instead of execution or imprisonment, he was offered something he never expected: redemption. You have a choice, Maria told him. Help us build something better, or cling to the past and fade into irrelevance. To his own surprise, Voss chose to help. The Malkarans, humbled but not broken, became part of the new galactic order. Their technology, combined with human innovation and the unique perspectives of 100 different species, ushered in an age of unprecedented advancement. Years later, Maria Ramirez stood on the observation deck of the Tempest, now serving as a mobile embassy and training center for the Galactic Alliance. Beside her stood former Admiral Voss, now Ambassador Voss, his crystalline features softened by time and experience. "Do you ever regret it?" he asked. "Not destroying us when you had the chance." Maria smiled, watching young officers from a dozen species training together in the simulator bay. "Destruction is easy, Voss. Building something better, that's the real challenge. That's what makes us human." The stars stretched out before them, no longer divided by empire and conquest, but united in possibility. Humanity had returned from exile not as conquerors, but as catalysts for change. They had brought the storm, and in its wake, a new dawn for all. The age of empires was over. The age of alliance had begun. And somewhere in the depths of space, more human ships continued to awaken, each one carrying not just survivors, but the seeds of hope for a galaxy finally free to choose its own destiny.